guys. Person loudly chewing gum here. I'm gonna put that right over here, right there. So I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but there's a little bit of a trend on YouTube when it comes to magic that people love cardistry. People love card flourishing. So today I'm gonna show you guys a trick that incorporates card flourishing because apparently you guys, 18 to 35-year-old males, like that sort of stuff. And if you're not familiar with the channel, you should subscribe. I do a lot of things, most of which involve card and magic in general. So if you're not there yet, you should subscribe to the play button, I guess. That's kind of my goal. And like, come on, like Jabrizi has one. I could get one. So let me show you what this looks like. I'm going to use these Cartamundi playing cards because they graciously sent it to me. And oh boy, Mr. Kopag, if you were here, oh man, I'd do some Belgium waffle stuff to you. So for this, we have a deck of cards that's thoroughly mixed, and we're going to have a card picked freely from the deck. In this case, we'll go for this one. So we show this card to the spectator, making sure that they don't get a little bit of a, I don't get a peek of Rooney, even though I'm looking directly at the monitor, but I'm on drugs, so I don't know what the card is. But ultimately, this card is then lost somewhere in the middle of the deck. And we offer to the spectator a little display of our skills. So first of all, I'm going to show you one of these. I don't know if you've seen one of these, but it's a shuffle that shows you how little of a life I have. Interestingly enough, with my sensitive fingertips, I could actually manage to find one card in the context of that cut. Sir, that's right, the 10 of diamonds. But I know what you're saying. That's not really that impressive, sir, because you shuffled and cut the deck. But then again, remember, you could have picked any card. So it's not that impressive to find your card. It would be impressive if I could find all 4 10s. That would be very impressive, but no one could do that. I don't think I've seen anybody ever do that. But I'll tell you what, we'll just jump to the explanation here because I know that's what you want. So we'll go to their right now. Oh, shit. You guys enjoy magic tricks? Because I'm going to show you a magic trick. Well, I'm going to show you how to do a magic trick because I think you guys are more interested to find out how I did that trick than anything else. So we're going to combine a couple advanced ideas here. Number one is a Gary Roulette touch force, one of my favorite touch forces because it involves touching. And that's one of my favorite things to do as a hobby. Next, you're going to do a Sybil, a basic Sybil, which shouldn't be too hard for most of you guys above the age of 11. And finally, a little bit of a double lift sort of action here that's going to accomplish the little flourish that we have at the end to produce the remaining 10s. So here you have a nice little bit of a setup. You get your 4 10s or any 4 of a kind that you so have an affiliation with, preferably gender neutral. And you're going to take 1 10 and leave it face up on top of the deck. Then you're going to take another 10 and leave that face down on top of that one. And then one more and leave it face down on top of that one. This last 10 is going to go on the bottom of the deck. And then now you're ready to go. You're ready to rock and roll, as the kids like to say. All the kids like to say that, including the Asians. The Asians like to say that. So now you're ready. You take this deck of cards and you say, sir, would you like to see a card trick? No? Well, here, pick a card. And you're going to go into the force. So the Gary Roulette touch force. Let's do this. Let's get right into the news. So here, you're going to give the deck one single cut and maintain a pinky break, separating both halves. That's the first step in accomplishing this. Next, you're going to spread the cards and have the spectator touch any card they want in this upper half. So how you're going to do this, you're going to spread the cards slowly and say, sir, do me a favor and touch one of these so that the spectator doesn't decide to come in here, reach into the bottom, and grab a card, which will leave you in a situation where you can't perform this trick. So for this, you're going to spread the cards. Whatever card they touch, you're going to out-jog it and square the rest of the deck up. So now you're in a situation where you have a card out-jogged and you have a break over here. So how are we going to do this? Well, very easily with the Gary Roulette touch force. We're going to square this card in with the rest of the deck. At the same time, we're going to lift up on our break and bevel the deck this way to show that card to the spectator, effectively forcing it. Oh yeah. So let's do that in super Central American slow motion for you guys, because I know some of you guys from Central America need. So we're gonna have this situation over here. Remember, you have your pinky break, right? We're gonna square the card up flush with the deck, and we're gonna lift up at the break and show the 10. What you're trying to approximate is that you squared that card up with the deck and you're showing them the card that they cut to. However, you are showing the card that is at your break. So that is the Gary Roulette Touch Force, a wonderful force, and again involves touching, one of my favorite things to do. So now, when you square up the cards after accomplishing the force, so you've done the force, you're going to obtain a break and reestablish that same break that you just had as you spread the cards and go, you could have touched any one of these. At this point, all you need to do is reverse this cut. So if you want to do a pass, you could do a pass. If you want to do a double undercut, you could do that. If you want to do a triple undercut, you could do that. If you want to do a four-way undercut, then you're going to have to ask for consent first, because not without consent. So now you're back in the same situation you were as before. You have the same situation on top. You have two 10s followed by a face-up 10, followed by the 10 of clubs, the card that they picked on the bottom of the deck. So at this point, you can insert whatever fancy cut you want. An easy one is the pendulum cut. Where could you learn the pendulum cut? Well, from Troy Hoosier. Where else can you learn the pendulum cut? Well, it's one of the easy false cuts I teach on my Card Academy. What's a Card Academy? Well, if you look in the description below, I'll send you to a link to the Pigcake Card Academy, where you could go from a beginning magician to an expert magician. And I'm going to teach you pretty much everything there is to know that I know about card magic. So you should click on there. So you could do whatever fancy cut you want, but ultimately you're going to do a Sybil, a very simple Sybil right now. And the way we get into that, we're going to hold the deck in the left hand in a high-ish grip. So this is a little bit of a high grip. We're going to break off this top end in a swing cut position, and we're going to use our finger of the left hand, our forefinger, this is my favorite finger, and we're going to use that to pull down on approximately less than a third of the cards. So one more time, we're holding the cards in this sort of way. We're pulling down with our left forefinger. We're pulling up with our right forefinger. And all this is using the fulcrum point of our thumb to allow itself to stay where it is. So now what's going to happen is that you're going to revolve this whole situation towards yourself. You're not going to revolve it this way. Then you're going to get some sort of weird Dan and Dave thing that they haven't even yet invented. So you're going to revolve this situation towards yourself. And remember, because your forefinger of your left hand is holding this packet, that leaves your thumb and your middle finger open, so that when you revolve this packet towards yourself, you could grab it between the thumb and the forefinger. You see that? Oh yeah. So you're grabbing that packet. Now you're going to let go of that middle packet with your right hand, and you're going to revolve this whole situation using your forefinger around itself, which is going to put you in this position. Perfect position for a Charlie air cut. However, you're not going to do a Charlie air cut. Your thumb is actually going to make contact with this 10 of clubs and is going to revolve it around at the same time that this half gets flipped over and placed on top, so you have produced the 10 of clubs. I know what you're saying. That was a little bit too fast, Piggy. You should slow it down, because I'm from Africa. So here, I'm going to slow it down for you guys. You got to lower with your finger. You got to raise up with this finger. Spin everything towards yourself. You grab it with the middle finger and your thumb. You're going to let go with the right hand of that middle packet. So now this whole situation is being held by your forefinger, which is putting a little bit of pressure. Now you're going to revolve everything here around, and you're left in this V situation. You're going to put your thumb over here and spin this 10 face up on top of this lower half. And now to end it, you're going to spin. You're going to do this Stuart Gordon double lift. Or if you want, you could just do this. It's simple. You don't have to do any sort of fanciness. So that way, that looks like this if you want to do it the fancy way. And if you don't want to do it the fancy way, it just looks like that. So you just cut one card, the 10 of clubs, from the middle of the deck, which happens to be their card. But you say, you know what, that wasn't that impressive. So here you're going to get ready for that production. So you're going to take this card out, you're going to out jog it, and you're going to show the 10 of clubs. As you do that, you're going to get a little bit of a pinky break right here below this top card of the deck. Because in a moment, you're going to call attention to the 10 and say, oh, I know what you're thinking. I shuffled the deck, and you picked any card you wanted, but it was still under my complete control. So it wouldn't be that impressive if I just found your 10. It would actually be impressive. And here you're going to do the 10 production here. So the way we do this, we're going to turn this single card over, face down on top of this broken card And by broken, I mean its spirit, because so now that you've done that, you're actually going to lift these 2 cards up as one, and you're going to do the Stuart Gordon double lift. However, you don't necessarily have to do a good double lift, because you're going to end up splitting these cards anyway. So you're going to turn these 2 cards over and split them just like this. So this is done in one continuous action. You're just going to pick them up and split them. At the same time, your left thumb is going to revolve this card around the upper left corner of this card, just like this. So what this accomplishes is that in one fluid action, you're able to produce all 4 tens, apparently from nowhere, but really you know exactly where they came from. They came from here, and from here. That's where they came from. So ultimately, you're calling attention to the 10. You turn this over. You pick these 2 cards up as one. You turn these over and split. At the same time, your thumb comes over here, turns this over, and now you say, that's impressive. That is impressive that I could do that. That is super impressive. Finding your card is not impressive. Finding all the 10s is impressive. So you better applause to me right now. Applause. I want to hear your adulation. Yes. Oh, give it to me. Or whatever, the way you end your set. So that's the trick. That's the trick. It's a little bit of a flourishy trick. So remember to use it in the right context. You don't want to use it too much, because then spectators are going to say, oh, you're really good. And then whatever it is that you do afterwards is like, oh, you're just really good. It's really fast with your hands. But I hope you guys enjoyed that. Make sure to practice it. Do all the things that people do. And I'm going to go figure out ways to turn into Jeff McBride, however, without all the outfits, because he wears a lot of weird outfits, and I don't want to wear weird outfits. So I'm going to go do that.